Welcome to Caldwell County Today. I'm Paige Counts, Public Information Officer for Caldwell County. Joining me today is Keith Smith, and this time he's representing Wind and Woods Production and Home for Christmas.
That's right. You always say, Paige, that I wear many hats. Well, today I wore many coats, or a coat representing Christmas. So
that's right. You have your Santa ho-ho-ho.
My ho-ho-ho coat on to give proclamations of what's about to come with our concert.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas is right around the corner.
It is. It's coming very quickly.
And Home for Christmas is one of the celebrations that we look forward to every year.
Yes, this will be our 12th annual Home for Christmas concert. I actually started it in 2010, and we had a couple of years when I had surgeries, we couldn't do it. We didn't do it during the year of COVID, but for the most part, we've continued it year after year, and very happy to do that. A lot of people in Hudson and people who come in from elsewhere say that this really kicks off their Christmas season. It's the second weekend in December, but it gives them a couple of weeks till Christmas to get in the spirit. We have a 50-voice choir, 49 right now actually, but usually every year around 50. Very talented local singers who sing with me for many things, and we do both secular and sacred music of the season, and as I said, get people in the spirit.
It really does get people in the spirit. I have been to the concert, but the concert changes annually.
It does. It's never exactly the same. And we always have a few of the Keith touches, but it's just good music and good fellowship. And if you come to dinner, which we encourage, you can fellowship around your tables with people you know and people that you meet. You can have a dinner after a day of shopping or something and then not have to worry about cooking your meal. And we'll talk about how it's catered in a moment. And we also have a manger display down the hall. Reverend Ann Wepner, who sings with us, Pastor Ann Wepner, is a delightful lady, does a lot of shows with me. But she has a very renowned manger collection. Now, in the past, we've had the lady from Hickory, who is Miss Hoffa, who has done it for us. But she's at a different place this year, but Ann's bringing in her collection, so it'll be something fresh and new for people to see. So we encourage people to take the time and get in the spirit. Go down the hall. They can have a beverage, so they can check out the before or after the meal or during the break. They can check out all the artistic qualities of the Hub Station, how it's been developed, the Hudson Arts Center now, really. So it's a good evening, a fun evening that we enjoy every year.
And when you talk about a nativity collection, you're talking about quite a collection. You're not talking about one or two.
Exactly. I don't, to be honest, I don't know the full extent of Ann's, but she has told me enough for me to realize it's very special, and she's collected it from all over the place. So I think people will be very interested to see that, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Let's talk about the music.
Okay, the music. I'm going to tell you, to get into what kind of music we do, you know I have to go all my places. So
yes,
I'm going to tell you how this concept started. And I think we talked about it before, but it's been at least a year, so people will refresh people's memory. Started this in 2010, and I was thinking about reminiscing about childhood Christmases and thinking about what constituted my childhood. And we always tend to remember things favorably when we look back, but I remembered all those what I call tacky plastic candles in the windows and the big light bulbs, which I loved, and they've come back, and which I like. But I was an only child, am an only child. My parents are both deceased now, but we would, during Christmas season, and we didn't start so early. You know, it seems like, you know, now people started even missing Thanksgiving, already starting for Christmas.
Well, someone said you wore your Halloween costume to eat your Thanksgiving meal by your Christmas tree now.
Yes, that's it. And you get, sometimes Thanksgiving gets crammed out in the middle a little bit. But back then it seemed like, you know, it was a shorter time of celebrating, but it seemed longer somehow, more innocent days. But I was thinking back, we would go to bed in the evening, and we had, in our den, our living room, we had this huge mahogany console, a stereo that weighed probably several hundred pounds. And you had long playing albums back then, and they would drop, and we would put like 5 Christmas albums on that, and we'd go to bed and go to sleep while the music was still playing. And I remember all those memories were touched by Perry Como and Andy Williams and Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby and Dean Martin and Nat King Cole and the Fred Waring Singers and others. And just over the years, you know, as I say, you look back on that pleasantly, and I wanted to recreate that feeling through a concert. So I called it, we'll be coming Home for Christmas, so Home for Christmas concert. And our theme song every year, we've done it all but I think one year, that is a consistent piece. We do the song, I'll Be Home for Christmas. and we're doing that again this year. And I will say this, we reach out to people. Our community of singers are not, as I always say, surround myself with good people, not only good singers, which they are, but good people. And two of our stalwart singers are David and Beverly Bigelow. And Beverly's mom and dad both just passed recently within 3 weeks of each other. And so we're lifting up this concert to her, and she wants to sing because she said it's very therapeutic for her. And we're dedicating the song. I said, Beverly, I can't do much, but if you'd like for me to dedicate a song to your parents, I would do that. And I had the song Home for Christmas in mind. I didn't say that. She said, could we do I'll Be Home for Christmas, because my parents are truly home for the first time at Christmas, being a believer. So we're doing that. So I love it when we can reach out and actually touch people's lives in some way. It's entertainment if nothing else, but as I said lately with the hurricane and world conditions and worrying about peace, it's good if you can do something in the community to promote peace and have a little bit of respite from all the hard times that we face around us. And if you can inspire people or make them feel, then that's just an added bonus.
Right. Yeah. So can you give us a hint and maybe a couple of the secular pieces?
Sure.
And a couple of the secular...
And I knew you were going back to that after my long...
I was going back there. You know, I'm keeping you on track, Keith.
Detour, that's right, and I appreciate that. You do great at that. But I usually do come back to it. As I said, it's a balance of secular and sacred music. Some of the secular music we're doing a really fun song called Nutcracker Jingles, and it's to Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite, but it's the words Jingle Bells. And it's a fun song. We're doing Home for Christmas, which I mentioned. We're doing Winter Wonderland, what I call the two winter songs, Winter Wonderland and White Christmas. And we actually do that introduction to White Christmas. Most people know the chorus. Everybody knows the chorus. But there's a lead-in that talks about this hot day in Beverly Hills and how I wish I were back up north celebrating Christmas. Irving Berlin, the renowned composer who wrote that, he was sitting by a pool in Hollywood at 101 degrees when he wrote that song. So it shows the power of the mind to reminisce and carry you other places. So we're doing those songs. Some of the sacred music we're doing Lo How Rose Air Blooming, a very nice arrangement for that. And we're doing that for our regular yearly singer, Robert Marshall, who also sings with me in men's chorus. But that's his favorite hymn, so doing that kind of in tribute to him. And we're doing two spirituals, Going to Bethlehem and Look at That Star. We're doing a couple of beautiful carols, All on a Starry Night, which quotes Silent Night. We're doing a beautiful rudder piece called Candlelight Carol that expands into these glorious parts, and just a lot of songs. But it's a good balance, and a lot of these songs we've done before, not ever all at the same time. But I think people will really appreciate them. They'll recognize them and understand them, and our singers enjoy singing them. And we always have a few new things, so we challenge ourselves. And
you bring back a lot of the same singers year after year.
It is. I have a consistent group of singers. I would say over the last 20 years, I probably, if you counted everyone individually who has been involved, it's probably been over 100. But a lot of the core group come back they sing with me when we do shows at the Hub. A lot of the men sing in men's chorus. They sing for the Home for Christmas group. As I said, a fine group of people and singers, and that core group of 30 or 40 are what sustain us. So I'm very thankful to them. I was talking to Greg Knight one time years ago about how when he was preparing to go to a contest as a pianist, he just relied on himself, which required great discipline. He might practice 7 hours a day. Practice about 5 a day anyway, but even more when he was leading into something. But I said, you control your destiny. You control your own destiny. I said, with me to realize my vision, whether it's a play or a concert, a show, whatever, I rely on other people because they're my instruments out there before me, my painting on the canvas, so to speak. And without them, I couldn't do what I do. So I'm so appreciative. And all these folks are volunteers, but they do it because they love it. They're not forced to do it. They're forced to read my emails, which I write frequently to them. I don't think they all read them always, but once in a while I'll put in a question like, if you read this email, come into rehearsal and tell me a polar bear is white, just to see if they're listening. But somebody came in one day and said, I think it was Kevin Perry, she said, my polar bear is actually dirty. He's actually brown now. So at least he had read the email. But they do it out of love for their community. And they realize, I think, how much they uplift the spirit of the community by doing this.
And when you talk about the community, you're not talking about Hudson. You're
That's
talking
right.
about a much larger community, even outside of Caldwell County.
Well, that's it. I think it's little concentric circles. It starts with Hudson and expands out to the rest of Caldwell County. But we have regular people, both for our plays and for these concerts, who come from Burke County. Groups of people, churches, come from Burke County and Catawba County and Alexander County. And we have people who come up from close to Charlotte, people who come from towards Greensboro. My favorite story about that still was a Christmas concert we did. And Viewmont Baptist Church in Hickory brought 30-some people in their bus to see it. There's this one little lady, she was very nice, I do not remember her name, but she was greeting everybody after the concert, which that's part of the perk for the singers, for people to come up and talk with them. And she said, I better go, they're waiting on me in my bus. And she kept on, well, lo and behold, they left without her.
Oh, no.
And so Janice Woody, who was at the hub at the time, said, I'm going to say Johnson, I don't remember her name, but Miss Johnson said, well, what church do you go to? She said, well, I used to go to Viewmont Baptist. So Joe Iker, bless his heart, took her home. Carolyn had gone to Haiti for a mission trip. And so Joe's taking this little 87-year-old lady home. And I said, Joe, Carolyn's going one day here, you're taking this lady home. But the funny thing was, the next year, the same lady lost her cell phone, but we found it for her. But we do have a great grouping of people, and it is true community in the sense of the word. We always tell you we can't do things nationally. We can be involved, but we don't have any control over Washington or international things, but we can have control in our community of being kind to our neighbors and uplifting them. And if everyone did that throughout communities all over the country, it would bring us to the better angels of our nature, and just having that feel-good relation with people. I say one of my themes lately has been the two universal languages are a song and a smile. So if we can sing and make people smile, and we can smile while we're doing it, like Ken Twain always has this glorious expression on his face, but if we can do that, then we've reached out to a lot of people in our immediate community and throughout the world at large.
Well, let's talk about how to get to the concert and the specifics, all these logistics.
You're good, because that's exactly what I was thinking next. The concert, it's usually, and once again, it's on the second weekend of December. This year, that's Friday the 13th. And in theater and music, 13 is a lucky number, I guess, because artistic people are so aberrant, you embrace the opposite. But the 13th is supposed to be lucky. So Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th, it's at the Hub Station. And the town is so supportive of this, but this is not a town event. It is not a Hub Station event. I rent the facility for our Wind and Woods productions. And so to get tickets, you have to call, and we'll give you the number in a moment. You have to call separately about that. But we have the concert for those 2 nights, and the doors open at 6. People can go see the manger scene, and or like I said, have a beverage or walk up and down the halls. The meal's at 6:30, and again, it's a great gift for someone because they don't have to cook. You just come in, and I will mention that Sims Barbecue Catering. This is the 3rd year they've done it, and people have been very happy with them the previous 2 years. And third time will continue the charm. But they have both barbecue, pork barbecue, and chicken. And we have baked beans and coleslaw and potato chips and peach cobbler. You said it had you with that.
I told him he had to get peach cobbler.
And corn fritters and tea. So it's a good meal. So you have your meal at 6:30, then the concert's at 7:30. The tickets are $35 for the concert and the meal. If you just want to come sit in the balcony and listen to the music only, which is a lovely experience too, those are $20. And all this money, it just covers the cost of our production. This is a volunteer effort throughout the community. And I put it together, but all we can do, it takes the village of all these people doing it. And the money pours back into future events that we're doing, and I'll mention that in a minute. But
well, and I remember one year you were talking about maybe getting enough money to do new risers.
We are, and we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
We're still working on that.
Still working on
that. It goes
that.
back into that, and we'll talk about it. But so the logistics are, you have to call the number, which I'm sure Eric will put on the screen, is 322-3169. That's 828-322-3169. And if no one answers, leave a message, and someone, probably me, will get back to you, and we'll take care of your ticket order. We're not set up for credit cards. This, as I said, it's a once-a-year event. It's through my Wind and Woods Productions, but it's a once-a-year event, so we don't have a permanent setting or don't go online to get tickets. But there is that personal touch involved, which is nice. So $35 for the meal and the concert, $20 for the concert only. And when we do plays, I encourage people to sit as close to the front as you can because you see expressions. But really for a group this size, for the sound to assimilate and come together, really halfway back or further really works for hearing all the sound blending together. So there's not a bad seat to sit and listen in the whole house. But tickets are already on sale, so if you'll call that number, we'll take care of you. And again, it's that Friday and Saturday, December 13th and 14th. There's so many things going on during this time of year, but we want to be part of your Christmas experience.
So you could spend your day shopping. You could shop local and then do a local event.
That's it. And I encourage church groups to have their Christmas parties with us. It's a great idea. Several of my friends might buy a table for their friends and family as Christmas gifts. My cousin, she's buying a table for all the people she works with at her church and said that's her Christmas gift to them, and she's done that for 2 or 3 years now. To encourage that sense of community and camaraderie, if you buy, the tickets are $35, but if you buy a table of 8, only 8, if you buy fewer it doesn't count, but if you buy a table of 8, tickets are discounted to $32 per ticket, so there's a $3 discount. And there are fees to rent the facility, not only the rental, but fees for each ticket sold, and there are taxes involved, but all that's incorporated into the price, the $35 or the $20 for the viewing of the concert only. And so that's already incorporated in, you don't have to worry about that. And we'll get the tickets in the mail to you, and we'll go from there.
But this concert is going to be dedicated to someone's special.
Yeah, someone's. Yeah, that's right. Barbara Freiman and Evelyn Beam, who have been my friends and supportive of me and my artistic endeavors, but of the whole community. Both were involved with Lenore Community Club for years. They do things through their churches and throughout the community. But no one's been more supportive of me, so it's a way I can honor them by giving back and recognizing them. They'll both be there that opening Friday night. So we'll look forward to that. And you mentioned the risers.
I did. I was just curious.
Yeah, and I want to talk about them. We're aging out. Our median age range, we have some younger people coming in, thank God, that's great. But we have people in their 60s and 70s and 80s, and knees and hips don't work like they used to, backs, then people don't stand as long, they get tired on their feet. So what we're looking toward, we have risers, but that we bought from Transformation Church, and actually they gave them to us and we gave them a little donation, which was very kind of them, and a couple of their members sing with us. But they're substantial for what we need. But what we're looking at acquiring are risers that are actually instrumental risers. Choral risers are usually 3 feet, and there's room to stand on them, but not room to sit. For these band risers, they're 4 feet wide, each riser is, or depth, the depth of it. So you can have a chair and still stand in front of the chair or sit back down when we need to. So we'd like to have that option and do some song singing, sitting down, or people who are infirm, if we have people join us who have issues with their health, they can sit. We're trying to be all inclusive. The thing you have to have is a good voice and a fun spirit, but as body-wise, we'll take you if you're young, old, black, white, heavy, thin, whatever, as long as you can sing.
Bad knees, bad ankles.
Bad knees, we'll let you sit over there and sing from right there and go for it. But so those risers are something we're building into, and we have some angels, I hope, that are going to be helping us with this, because the ones I want are very, very nice, like around $15,000. But see, we'd leave them at the hub, and then Midford Museum could use them, or other people who are using the hub. As long as they stay there on the premises, it would be happy for other people to use them, even though we generate the funds. The other thing is next year, I really hope to do it this year, but there was just too much going on. But I really hope next year, and I think I've shared this with you before, I have a cantata I want to do and a couple of other pieces with a chamber orchestra, like 14 pieces to play. And to get that's going to be several $1,000s too. And talking to Broyhill Family Foundation, who are so wonderful to support things, and others about helping raise money for that, to be through the school system. I would like to, it's for the public, the concert would be, but also I want kids who wouldn't normally get to see a 50-voice choir or hear an orchestra or know what the instruments in an orchestra are, and that maybe they're not able to afford it, to be able to have a night for just them, that the school sponsors or individual sponsors them, and maybe for them, we wouldn't have a fancy meal, we'd have pizza and let them eat their pizza and then watch the concert. And I really want to do that. I think that would be a great exposure for the kids, and then we'd have our regular meal and a couple of nights performance for the public. but always trying to think ahead of things I want to do to reach out, to give back to the community.
And Keith, you're always thinking ahead and planning. I am certain that you have the next 3 years worth of Hub Productions scheduled.
You want me to be honest?
It's probably further out than that.
I think I've out to about 2038 or 2039, so about 13, 14 years. Now that doesn't mean we're not going to change some things. I hope God gives us the grace and the time and the health to be able to do that. But if that continues, I mean, I've got the plans. Just recently, I was looking at a publicity show, a documentary about the great composer Robert Shaw, who I had the opportunity to sing with in 1978. The Carolina Choir went down and sang with him, and the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. We did Messiah for a week. And when Robert Shaw passed away in, I think, 1999, he was in his early 80s, they found things of his plans for things at Carnegie Hall up through, at that time, like the year 2024, which was like 25 years. So I think it helps keep people alive. If you have a plan, it helps your health and keeps you focused on something. I don't understand. I've dealt with depression in my life before when you felt like just sitting around, but I've discovered that if I always have something to look forward to and to do, it keeps you light, it helps you be responsive to people around you, and you forget about what you're going through and you look for the project. And that's how I'm always trying to focus forward for that.
And for our viewers, one of the things to look forward to is Home for Christmas.
Home for Christmas, yes. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've been at the point of this taping, we've had a couple of rehearsals, and we have one tomorrow night as of this taping. But it's fun. We get together and we laugh, and we work hard. I insist on demanding a lot of them musically. The other night, somebody was putting a hard R on the end of their words, like tender, and I said dur. It's like a chainsaw. We're cranking up our chainsaws. But so we have fun, but they know it's well intended, and we inspire people within ourselves. We have inspirational moments when it's just delightful to be a part of it.
And when you're watching the show, you can see the camaraderie that is built between the performers, the choir.
Yes. So some of these people go back to with Mr. Cogdell in high school, or Patsy Bost in high school, or Patsy Riddle, who's sung together for years and years. And both Mr. Cogdell still sings with you, and Patsy Riddle does. She's a fine lady, does so much for the community. So it's good to still have them involved. It just keeps giving and going from generation to generation, we hope.
Keith, one more time, remind us of the logistics.
Okay. It's the Home for Christmas concert, the 12th annual. Not all straight years, but for most of those years, with just a couple of exceptions, but we're reestablished now. And it's always the second weekend in December this year. That's December the 13th and 14th. That's a Friday and Saturday. We have a manger display. Doors open at 6 o'clock. There's a meal at 6:30 catered by Sim's Barbecue. It's going to be chicken and pork and baked beans and slaw and potato chips and corn fritters and rolls and tea and
peach cobbler.
Yeah, it's peach cobbler. So we have that meal. That's at 6:30. Then the concert is afterwards at 7:30. Tickets are $35 for both, $20 for the show only. But it's good. It's going back into the community, and it does cost more than people would realize to produce these things. But we're happy to do it. And you get your tickets by calling 322-3169. That's 828-322-3169. And if you don't get someone live, your call will be returned, and we'll book tables in the order that people call. And so it's still very much not sophisticated in a good way. Not, it's great going online to buy tickets and things, but this is still that old-fashioned Home for Christmas. The old bulbs, the old lights, still doing tickets the old-fashioned way. But we're looking forward to seeing all of you out there.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Paige.
And thank you for joining us.